Hi everyone, I'm back. How are we all doing tonight, everybody? So, everyone okay? Let's just sort this out real quick. See what we got in here. So I was looking at some video on how to do the muscle up because that's something I'd like to be able to unlock soon, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. There's like a few steps to it really, like you have to kind of, like if you're starting off with muscle up, there's like, it's a lot of it's technique. It's about timing, it's about, you know, getting things in the right way. It's like, for example, when I tried to learn how to ollie on a skateboard, and I was like, you have to combine a bunch of steps at the right time. So it's all about, you know, getting the, you would like bend your back up at the right sort of time, and you would try and create momentum and stuff like that with the muscle up. So there's a trick to it. Like you would start off with trying to get some momentum where you would, and then you would do like a leg raise to kind of, you would to try and gain momentum and stuff, and yeah. But yeah, someone was saying that like doing weighted pull-ups can help with improving explosiveness because that will make you more efficient with pull-ups. Like you'll find that you're able to go faster and get more explosive with your pull-up reps. So then you can just more easily do a muscle-up or something. But that's something I'd like to be able to unlock because muscle-ups, a lot of it's about coordination and about doing things at the right time. Hello, John Wallace, how you doing? Thank you for the like. Nice one. So the muscle-up is tricky one. About the only like 1%, if that, of people can actually do a muscle-up. So if you can do a muscle-up, then you're in the minority. Hi, welcome back, Susie. What have you been up to today? So I was saying earlier, where is Fernie? Where is Susie? And then you ended up coming late on. What's my age? 30 years old. My name's Jamie, 30 years old. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here. So, hello Zop. Hope you're well tonight. So I want to unlock the muscle up really. So that's going to be something might try and focus on. It's just something I'm a bit scared of because I'm worried that I might end up going right over the bar and then falling off. Because you can end up hurting yourself if you fuck it up. But I don't know if it's a big risk of that happening. I don't know. But that is something, because obviously when you're going like that high up, it's like, you know, there is that kind of fear, I guess, of that happening. So I'm a bit kind of apprehensive of that. But I'm not married now. How's life? Not too bad, thank you. How's your life? Oh, I must be psychic. Oh yeah, it's odd, isn't it, how you think of people and then think of both of you, and I'm like, then they ended up both showing up. I don't know. Did I tell you last night, Susie, about somebody that watched me on TikTok? Saw me last night. I did tell you that one, yeah. Hi, Pohan. How you doing? Hello there, Pohan. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Nice having some ups and downs, nothing else. Yeah, we all have our ups and downs, don't we? But yeah, thank you for the likes. Hit that like button, everybody. No, I didn't tell you. Maybe you weren't there. You weren't there last night, were you? Oh, the Trump moves with the hand gestures. Is that what you're talking about? The hand gestures. So yeah, I'll put a sticker in the. So I'll put a Q&A. No, not a Q&A. Hang on. Yeah, Q&A. What questions shall we put? What job? Sorry, what would? What job would you have if it could be any question mark. That'll be a good one to get some. Yeah, maybe we can have that as a question. Anyway, how are we doing tonight, everybody? Hope you're all well. So let's just have that. Bear with me a second. Hang on, try and move that out the way. For some reason it's not budging. Hi everybody. Hello Tristan. What are you saying? Didn't do much last night. Hello Kapil. Hello Pirtosh. Hello Nain. Hello Mary. How you doing tonight? Hope you're well. Why is it not moving? Why is it not? I'm trying to move this thing out of the way. I don't want it in my face, do I? What's going on? Why is it not moving? What is going on with this thing? God, that's annoying. What? It should move. I should be able to move it out the way. There we go. Right. There we go. It's out the way now. Something. But yeah, I don't know why it was not moving. I'm not asleep. No, I'm still up. Acrobat. Oh yeah. Mattress tester. That's a bit of a random one. Why you want United Kingdom? And Kapil's from India. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. That would be really appreciated. Okay, I'm getting rid of that. Hello, Carol. Yeah, so I'm still awake. I'll be awake for a while. So, hello, Dejan. I don't know what that says. I don't speak that language. I'd be a writer or an artist. Oh yeah. Yeah, what kind of like writing would you do? Like, is in like fiction, non-fiction? Like, what would you do? I'm guessing fiction. What kind of artist would you do? You mean like drawing and stuff like? You mean or painting or like? Yeah. Anyway, I think I would just be like some kind of performer. But yeah. Heli Ush says I would work as a physician at ITER. What's that? Hello Zertius. I'd be a professional guitarist, not gonna lie, or working at NASA. Oh, cool. Hello, Karen. Yeah, has anyone tried an app called BandLab? Apparently, you could just put in some voice and then turn it into MIDI files, which can then be turned into different instruments. But I tried it on my laptop, and I couldn't get anything to record, but I think I might have to look into getting the app on my phone, and I can mess around with that, because I could make some original music with that at some point, and I could sell it. So, hello NASCAR World. Okay, I don't speak that. Hello Khan, how are you? What is your professional and daily life? I mainly do this these days. I'm on a... Hello Tiger King. Oh, you got a 14-inch pizza. Oh yeah. I remember I had a 14-inch pizza a long time ago, a thick one, and it was just absolutely... it was kind of sickening, really, to be honest. It was just too much. Oh, you would be on a... What's that? Okay. I don't... Anyway, but is everybody alright then? Hit that like button. Share this out if you can, that would be really appreciated. Hamburger YTT. Okay. My eardrum started vibrating, how come? So, okay, can we not spam the chat, please? Right, I'm going to have to get rid of NASCAR World. You're just spamming now, so goodbye. You're in a timeout now. Hi, Coffee Cake. Good to see you. How are you doing tonight? Right, let's get rid of these spammers, you know. There's no need for that, is there? Hi, Ahmad. How's it going? Hope you're well. Nice to meet you all. Hit that like button, everybody. Thank you. It's great to see you all here tonight. Yeah, I know it's probably a bit late for some, but I suppose over in the States it's still quite early. Monroe Doctrine, what's that, Daryl? Tell me about that then. What's Monroe Doctrine? I don't know. Anyway. Hello, Ariane. It's my birthday. Can you give me a shout? Happy birthday, Ariane. Hello, Moon51. How you doing? Why can't Tory Reid says, are you conservative? I don't say... I would really identify with any of that, whether it's conservative, liberal, whatever. I just... Because I can take some bits from conservative, but I can also take some bits from liberal, you know what I mean? Like, you could say I'm conservative on some things, but also more liberal on certain issues as well. Okay. Could you just maybe give me a brief overview of it? I'd be a mortician or psychiatrist as a second career. Oh yeah. Oh really? Cool. Hang on a sec. I think anyway. Does the UK have liberal versus conservative? Well, it's more kind of Labour versus Conservative here. We've got Labour and Tories. I mean, well, I'm saying just like that. You know, I can be liberal and conservative, I guess. Where it's like, I can be sort of somebody who, for example, hello, Subhan Ali, I'm from the UK, where are you from? Nice to meet you all. Hello, the Stoic. I would be an architect, construction worker first. Oh yeah, I did construction in college, but I didn't see it through. The Tories are finished, the real opposition is reform. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying, that because the Tories are just, and Labour are all basically the same, but I think, like I said, we can be liberal in a way of like, it's all about trying to be open-minded and to listen to other people's points of view, but at the same time I can be conservative and like, I don't have to agree with you, you know, I don't have to agree with what you're saying, but this is the thing is that, you know, like with these liberals, is that they want everyone to like listen to them, but then they don't like it when, you know, you give them a different point of view, then they say you're a bigot or something. Even if you're not trying to force your opinion on them, they just, oh, you're a bigoted person. But oftentimes they are guilty of it themselves. But at the same time, I think conservatives, the problem with the conservative government and a lot of that is just that there's a lot of, they're in bed with the corporations and all that, and I don't agree with that. So someone that described it as the left fucks you over culturally and the right fucks you over financially. So they both fuck you over in different ways, I would say. Hello, Kaylee. So that's the problem. We have this kind of thing where, you know, you've got the hello Star Wars motion, a professional mini painter. What do you mean a mini painter? A striper? Or do you mean a stripper? Huh. So this is what we have is that, you know, like you have Tories that they're just kind of sleazy, kind of like, but I would say Labour are also sleazy now as well. Well, I'm talking about politics in general in terms of the left versus the right and how you've got the left that's supposed to be about tolerance and kind of open-mindedness, but then on the right you've got, you know, they're supposed to be about free markets and, you know, like capitalism and all that, but yet you've got this kind of mishmash of capitalism and state kind of like interference and kind of in a bad way. I mean, I think that certain regulations, and I was talking about this the other day, certain regulations would be necessary, but the problem is when you've got these corrupt regulations that end up actually throttling small businesses, and a lot of these corporations actually benefit. So some people blame capitalism, but I don't think it's as simple as that, really. You know, if you actually look into it all, and yeah, it's just a lot of people, I think, just kind of jump to conclusions about what's to blame for things. It's like when, you know, people blaming immigration for everything. It's like, yeah, there's problems with immigration in some ways, but not all immigration is bad. There is some good immigration, you know. Like, if people are coming here and benefiting the country, then by all means, you know. I think that people should be able to go and, you know, if they're going to benefit that country, then yeah, they have a right to go and do that, I think. That's my opinion. But I also see the problem with all this illegal immigration and how, why is it that taxpayers have to fund this crap, you know? But do you know how much money is being funded just to, like, house these people? That's just to house them. I think it's like over $1 billion a year or something. It's crazy. So something needs to be done about it, you know? What are you saying? But you're spitting some slight facts. Okay. Am I British? Yes, I'm British, Mermaid, yeah. So what I'm saying is that I agree with parts of immigration, but also, you know, why are we, you know, why are they prioritizing these illegal immigrants? They're not even here legally. They're getting fed, they're getting whatever off taxpayers' money. But yet you've got people here who are struggling to find somewhere to live. Maybe there's people here using food banks to get by. I mean, the priorities are wrong. Something needs to be done, right? So this is the thing, right? I can be open to like have, say some immigration and have it sort of like, as long as it's vetted, because these people should be like, there should be maybe some background, making sure that, that they come from a good background, make sure that they're not actually going to be a threat. Because if we don't vet people and we don't like make sure that, is this person going to be benefiting the country, or are they just going to come here and disrespect the country, So it's just, hello hacker, hello mermaid, how you doing? I'm not taken, I'm single. Hello Paul, how you doing? Says absolutely yeah. So I just try to have a more balanced view of things. But the thing is, people want you to take a side. You're either on the side of, open the floodgates and just have everybody come in, or you're on this side of no immigration whatsoever. And it's like, I don't have to take either of those sides. I have a more nuanced kind of take a lot of the time on politics and stuff like that, really. Hello, Barry, hope you're well. My family immigrated from England to the British colonies in the 1650s. Are you talking about during the British Empire or something? Like, is that what we're talking about here, the British Empire? But the thing is, right with the British Empire, a lot of people, they talk about like colonialism and all that kind of stuff, and I mean, they talk about all the bad that happened, but apparently there was actually some good that came from it as well. So it's like everyone has this kind of, most people seem to have this bad perception of, British Empire and the colonialism and all that. But if you actually look into it and there was some good, there was a lot of atrocities that happened, a lot of bad, don't get me wrong. But to me, it would be biased if you only focused on that. I don't have a problem with anyone coming legally. Yeah, if they're coming legally and they're going to respect the laws of the country and they're going to, provide for the economy. Because the thing is, right, there's a lot of jobs that a lot of the British people don't want to do, right? There's a lot of them that, like a lot of nurses, that they need to get them from abroad. It's just there's not enough. There doesn't seem to be enough British people that want to do that. And that triggered somebody the other day in the chat. And we fell out. It's just, hello Jeffrey, just left side hate and seeing them cry is hilarious. What are you saying? What do you mean? Why is it hilarious to see somebody cry? What are you saying? Back then we fought the red coats, today it's the red hats. What do you mean? Hello Ryan, how you doing? Emil and I put on my first pair of press-on nails today. I wish you could see them. Okay. Chris says, you're on quick question lotion or what you mean? Hello, Meech. Oh, thank you. Thank you. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm live every day, so yeah. We're going to blow this channel up, guys, and it's going to, yeah. I want to take it places. Maybe at some point I could start interviewing people. I could start interviewing all kinds of people. Philosophers. I could, maybe scientists even. Who the hell knows what I could do with this? But I have a vision. And I'm going to keep, going in that direction. Hello, just a guy. If you had many peas, would your... Oh, goodness. You're right, everybody. 23 in the house. Hit that like button, everybody. Subscribe if you're new. So, yeah, just got to try and, keep a positive attitude because, life's too short just to be a, just to be a downer who just is like, life is so bad. We're all just being, kind of oppressed and whatever. It's like, just forget about all that stuff, Forget about how other people are living their lives, all these out of touch people, all these, these nepo babies or whatever. Forget about all that, Just focus on living the best life you can. Not compare your life to other people. Yeah, there's going to be struggles in life, but you know what? That makes it all worthwhile, Hello, Badger. It's, welcome back. Good to see you again. There is, hello, Tenzit. Hello, yes, how you doing? Hope you're well. Thank you. Yeah, sending love out to everybody in the world, as long as, we have good intentions, that's all that matters, we're just, Hello, Mick Lloyd, good to see you again. Julie from France. Julie, j'habite en France. Badger says, if I could do anything, I don't know, maybe a personal trainer. That's something I want to do at some point, But, maybe I would do it more as a group call where I could, maybe not just personal training, but also like life coaching. I think that's maybe more of a holistic coach I would like to maybe do at some point, where it's not just about fitness, but trying to get people to their goals, because I have started to work towards my own goals. So I want to at some point be able to help people get to their goals as well. Accent needs some work, lol. It's okay. It's very good. Yeah. Très bien. Très bien. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Je m'appelle Jamy. Juby. I won't bring up the cult issues, lol. What are you talking about? American Swede says someone is behind you. No one's behind me. Scottish Thistle says light work at church, like planting flowers, light garden work. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Hello, Mahatma. How you doing tonight? Hey, Barry, welcome back. Good to see you again. What's the time there? It is nearly 10 to 1 a.m. right now here in the UK. Yeah. You might be wondering what I'm doing up, but, I stay up as long as I want, I'm free to do as I please. I'm a free spirit, and yes. Thank you for the 15 likes, everybody. Awesome. Where in the UK am I? I am in New York. Have you ever been here before? Hello, Hector. How are you doing? Do you talk about politics here in this channel? I do sometimes, yeah. I mean, if there's any issues you want to bring up, as long as we respect each other, we have to be able to agree to disagree sometimes, As long as we're not getting into arguments and trying to force our views on each other, then we can do that, It's just some people like to force their views on others, and I don't agree with doing that, We get some people. It's like when sometimes I like to talk about religion and stuff and ask people like what it is that got them into that. For example, if I ask people like what got you into faith in God and stuff like that, as long as people aren't going to get aggressive and defensive about it, Hello, prod by Sengali. Am I SAS? No, I'm not. That's not a York accent. It's not. I'm not originally from here. How do you know about the York accent anyway? Chirping is fun though. Oh yeah. Hello, Ali says. Okay. Oh, really, a pimp? Oh goodness, a pimp. Oh really? TC Grows. Yeah. I am. How did you know? Yeah. How did you know that? You're a psychic. Yeah. Nick says, accept that. Accept what? Sorry. Anyway, is everyone all right tonight? I'm your father. Luke, I am your father. Remember there was that Mandela effect where it's, instead of Luke, I am your father, it's no, I am your father. It's not 1945, you can come down from the attic. Oh, God. What the hell? That is terrible. Have you got MC Steve's phone number? Who's MC Steve? MC Steve? That MC MC Smalley. Remember all these friggin' MCs, like proper chavvy stuff in it, you know, like, yeah, let's listen to some MC Smalley and MC Baby and all that, mate. Why is Europe trying to learn Chinese? I don't know. What you mean? Is Europe trying to learn Chinese? I didn't know that. MC Hammer, oh yeah. Yeah, what was that song? What was it song? MC Hammer. What was it again, that song, MC Hammer? Hello, Stu. We Todd did so. Oh yeah, Sofa King. Yeah, it sounds like something else, doesn't it? Although no, I know 4MK126 says I'd be a goldsmith. Oh nice. VR Soka K-Man says Star Wars, bro. That Mandela effect is wild. Luke, I am your father. Yeah, a lot of people remember it as Luke, I am your father. But it's no, I am your father. There's also that golden boot thing, isn't there, with is it C3PO? They remember they having a golden boot, but it turns out it wasn't. Why do people remember C3PO with a golden boot or whatever it was? Chess says I wanted to be a diamond dealer. Oh, really? What, you mean someone selling diamonds? Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Hello, Henny. How you doing? What do you mean? Cheeks are like pizza. What are you trying to say there? Hello, Slimy. Armflex, not right now. Hello, Rockier. Henny says, okay, why don't you just, like, you know, just go away if you're gonna, like, you know, be nasty. I'll just get rid of you, you know. If you want to go at my scars, then you can just do one, can't you, you know? Don't sing. I'll do what I want, Calvin, you know? If you don't like it, then goodbye then, you know? What is up with people, eh? Adrian says, your friends from America don't want you guys forced to learn. What is going on in this live? What is it up? So why is it that people remember C3PO as having that? Hello from Ireland, any Irish connections? Nah, I don't think I've got anyone in my family from Ireland. Santana says, are you still alive? I was on earlier from Central Queensland. Wow, you're a legend, lol. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Good day, mate. So it says, people remember C3PO having two golden legs, including a golden right boot, rather than his actual silver right leg due to a combination of lighting conditions in the original film, inaccurate early merchandise, and the Mandela effect. So that might explain it or something. But yeah, a lot of the Mandela effects can be explained due to, like, for example, there was one that were, you know, in that nursery thing, what they were called that, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down, and then it's I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So that was probably due to, like, but apparently there was two different versions of it or something. Hello, Mike. So, yeah, or you'd be a bounty hunter. MC, oh yeah, that was the one, can't touch this. Doon, 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 doon. Can't touch this. Doon, 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 doon. Can't touch this. Yeah, that was the one, yeah. Yeah, Three Little Pigs, that's the one, yeah. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. It doesn't sound right, does it? I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. But there was that one with the Walker's Crisps or something, and people remembering, you know, the blue packets for, you know, salt and vinegar, and green for cheese and onion. I mean, as far as I was aware, like, they used to all be blue and green, as in that the as far as I'm aware, I thought that they were all, even, you know, including the Walker's ones, I thought that they were all blue for salt and vinegar, and green for cheese and onion. But apparently, yeah, some of them had blue for salt and vinegar and green for cheese and onion, but then they changed them. But I don't remember any of them being blue for salt and vinegar. It's really confusing. So yeah, I'm saying the other way around. Yeah, I don't remember that though. I don't remember walkers being the other way around to the other ones. So I don't know if anyone else agrees with me on that. That they don't remember walkers having them the other way around. Golden Wonder Chris still have green cheese and onion. Really? All right. I remember them getting switched at some point, or maybe some of them switched. But hello, Stephen. How you doing? Hope you're well. So it just made everything really confusing, like the switching them round and stuff, switching the colours round. But yeah. Anyway, so also some people remember Kit Kat having a hyphen between Kit and Kat. Hello, Elvora. How you doing? I hope you're well. Stephen's from Canada, eh? How are you today, eh? No cheese, onion, Chris in France. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Ted Green says, I'm from South Korea. Nice to meet you, Ted. How are you doing tonight? So, yeah. So does anyone remember that? A hyphen between Kit Kat. There's another one that Jif, people remember it as Jiffy or something. And what was the other one? A lot of people, there was that one called Berenstein Bars, but apparently it was Berenstain or whatever it was. So they change things that don't need changing. Yeah, it's like they're saying, if it ain't broke, don't change it. Because it's just going to end up confusing people. But what are your thoughts? Do you think that daylight savings time needs to be scrapped? Because it just makes things confusing, because like with time zones and stuff, like for example right now, like there's an 11-hour difference between us and Australia, but then at some times of the year it's actually 10, depending on, you know, because of whenever we're on British summertime and all that crap. Now I've never been to Australia, I've only ever been to France and Spain before. I did go to Paris a few years ago and went up the Eiffel Tower to the second floor. Is there any point in going to the top floor of Eiffel Tower? Because I'm thinking, well, what else would you really see up there? Because you can see all of the city from the second floor. So is there really any point in going any higher than that? I don't know why anyone would bother going any higher, but maybe just to say that they've done it. Arizona time never changes. Oh, really? That's a bit odd. And in some parts of the world, they have like half-an-hour time zones. Like I think if I remember in India, like for example, right now it's 1 p.m. There would be like 30 minutes past, and I'm like, huh? How is that? I thought it was all in hour segments. It's just so confusing, isn't it? It's like, yeah, the time change is just so outdated. For the sake of an hour, why bother? Exactly. It's just really quite a confusing one. It's like, because the whole thing of you get an extra hour in bed, or you get an hour less in bed. It just messes you up. Some people argue that it can mess up circadian rhythms and stuff, because like because then you're like forced to get up an hour earlier than you would have done. So it can actually be bad for you doing that. Yeah, when it's the autumn one where it's like the clocks go back. I don't know. It is what it is. It works here because it's summer. Okay. But yeah, it was just I don't know, it's just a way of like, it was a way to get the farmers working more, I think, wasn't it? Something originally. If I remember, that was what the purpose of it was. But yeah, at least kids can go to school in daylight. Well, I suppose. But I don't know. I just feel like it's just it just really confuses everything. But yeah, the thing is, it's like I just think the whole thing of, because it's all because of this system that we're in, that we have to do things in specific times and all that, and everything has to be done at a certain time. Like you have to go to work at a certain time. The system requires you to have deadlines and all this kind of shit, stressing people out because, oh, they need to meet a certain, criteria at a certain time, It's just, yeah. if we just kind of stop kind of maybe if depends on how deep you are in the system as to, yeah, it's not necessary, but I mean, yeah, most of Arizona does not observe daylight saving time and remains on Mountain Standard Time year-round. Really? Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was a worldwide thing. That extra hour in bed at the weekend in October makes it all worthwhile. But then you get an hour less on the other side, don't you? Really? Like when it's the hour forward, then you get an hour less, right? So there's that as well. So you know, every up has a down, they say. You know, so it's just swings and roundabouts, they say. Oh my cat, Hawaii doesn't observe daylight saving time either, really? Wow, so there's a lot of places that don't do it then. Yeah. Anyways, everybody okay? Yeah. We're okay. Are you a teacher? I'm not a teacher, why? Why are you asking? I just can't agree with any benefits from time change. Yeah, I know. Getting teacher vibes. Oh, really? Apparently I look like a teacher. Anyway, so, yeah. Got a cider and a... Okay, good for you then, Alfie. I used to work in the airport. So many people missed flights because of the hour. Yeah, just like confused people, won't it? Yeah. Like unless they use an alarm or something. Maybe they should just use an alarm, I guess, in that case or something. Yeah, if they just used a alarm to like get up early. But alarm's not necessarily good for you though, is it? Because it just starts you off with it's going to just start your day off with high cortisol basically. Because when you get woken up by an alarm, that's going to send adrenaline rushing through your body. You should let your body wake up naturally. But a lot of people set alarms for like having to get up at a certain time to go to work and things like that because they're worried that they will not wake up at the right time. Drug-free, bro, what are you saying? Okay, can we just like, you know, maybe not talk about that in here? Okay. Okay. Are we alright, everybody? Hope you've all had a good day. Share the live out if you can. That would be really appreciated. What are you saying, Mick? I'm mainly doing this stuff at the moment, so... Yeah, what about you, Julie? What did you say you do? Some of my colleagues use the excuse that they forget the time change so they can get another sneaky hour. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. It's like the dog ate my homework or something, you know. Hello, Zhang. Oh, really? Good for you. Oh, goodness. What is going on here, eh? Barry says drink, mate. Yeah, I'll drink, okay. If you're new here, guys, hit that subscribe button. That would be really appreciated. I just said, Julie, I'm mainly doing this at the moment. I'm trying to build my audience up, and yeah, I want to try and take this somewhere, so I'm dedicating as much time into it as I can. So, yeah. Hello, Muning Rays. What time is it in Canada right now? I don't know because I'm in the UK. But in Canada, it'll probably be 5 hours before me, so 1:06 a.m. So it's probably about, what will that be? 8:06 p.m. I'm guessing. But then it'll be different parts of Canada will be different. But that'll be on the eastern side, around sort of Toronto area. Actually, it'll be more 9 p.m. around Newfoundland, I think. Yeah. YTRKSPRCT. What is it with these names? I don't know. Yusuf, how you doing? Oh, thank you. Nice to meet you. How you doing this evening? Mahmood says, bloody hell. You're 11 hours behind us. Yeah, you're in Australia, right? Yeah, they're at 11 hours in front right now, but depending on the time of year, it's like different, isn't it? Yeah. So we alright tonight, everybody? Hope you've all had a great day. Yeah, anyway. It's great to have you all here tonight. What are your plans for the week ahead then, everybody? I've just checked your merch, Jamie. Fancy one of the t-shirts, but I'll customize it to get the motif on the back. What you mean? The motif? I don't know what you mean, but there's different ones on there. But yeah, just one of them. The first one with the "You're a Magician" one, it does look a little bit tacky, but the second one I did looks better in my opinion. It wasn't that hard to make because I just used some AI to help me with that. So, are you from the Philippines? Are you ending live stream? Not just yet. Alfie says just working all weekend, practicing guitar and reading in free time. Oh, cool. So I've got I've shown you this, haven't I? I like the picture prints on the back. Yeah, I like the colours. Yeah, the one with the colours on it. What's the thing that it says? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Tyler Ellis says custom knife maker. That's very random, isn't it? Yeah, very random. Morpheus says, yes, Rolf Harris. Did you mean from him? What? Ralph Harris? You mean Rolf Harris? What the hell? Yeah, very colourful. Love that quote too. Yeah, so I might try and come out with some more of them with similar quotes and things. I heard that those instruments are from nomadic Turks. Well, some say it's a Jew's harp, so maybe it was from around Israel area or somewhere like that, somewhere in that region, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, how you doing, Jay? Anyway, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That'd be really appreciated. Yeah. Yeah, so people could buy it as gifts, couldn't they, and stuff like that. Hello, Benson, how you doing? What do you get in a meal deal? Whatever you want to get in a meal deal. What sort of question is that? Did he make you a wooden horse? No. Where were you from before York? Blackburn. Do you know where that is? Alfie says, sounds like native Australians didgeridoo. Oh yeah. Hello, V2K gang. Welcome back. How you doing tonight? Meal deals are a waste now. Yeah, a lot of them are just rip you off, right? In fact, there was a shop called Booths, which they have a few of them over in Lancashire. You know how much it cost for a meal deal? It had like 4 little things in it. So you'll get maybe like a wrap or something, a drink, and then 2 snacks. 2 little snacks, not even big snacks. How much does that cost? You know, it's £6 there. I mean, £6 for a meal deal, guys. I know it's like a posh shop, but still, £6 for a meal deal, that is crazy. I'm so sick of McDonald's upping the price of their ice creams. Yeah, they're always upping the price. I was talking earlier about Freddo's, and they're also reducing the size. What size did Freddo's used to be? Let's have a look at this as well. So for the size of it, yeah, well, apparently it says, well, apparently they keep messing around with sizes and stuff. It was 17 grams, then 20 grams, then 18 grams. What was it back in 2000? Let's have a look. Well, so they've apparently varied between 17 to 20 grams, but the thing is the prices of them have almost quadrupled, so yeah. Yeah, they used to be like 30 cents. Yeah, they used to be 10p in 2000 apparently. I paid £8 for a box of Yorkshire tea bags at Morrison's. Blimey. Was 17p when I was a kid. Yeah, it was about that. How old are you, Alfie? It was probably around that when I was probably about 10. But apparently it was about, when 2000, so I was been about 5, price of Freddo. Another thing is the house prices. Yeah, I've come back on though. I was off for a bit and I've come back. So it was saying in 2000, a Cadbury's Freddo cost 10p in the UK. Let's have a look at average salary UK. Now some things haven't gone up by that much, like some of the vegetables and things like that, but let's look at the average salary in the UK 2000. So that's £18,848 with median gross weekly earnings at approximately £359. I don't know if is that after tax or that's gross earnings, so that's not net, so that's like before tax, I believe. But let's look at it for 2026, and now it's 38 to 45,000. So that's only about just a doubling of income, right? But let's look at average house price, UK 2000. Then we look at this, 88 to 90,000 pounds. Now in 2026, let's look. It says, let's see, talking about in January, taking the average asking price to £368,031. That is crazy. That is basically a quadruple in a price. Now compare income to houses. Yeah, that's what I mean. Comparing those two figures, and people are wondering why, it's hard to buy a house now. But look at houses built per year in the 60s. Then look at, exactly. But I think it's all by design. They're not building enough because a lot of these boomers, and also probably a lot of Gen X and other generations as well, there's a lot of people hoarding houses that do not want houses built because it affects their equity. So we have that to blame, I believe, really, because they're probably the ones that would have, say, like the zoning laws and stuff like that. Just purchase at power scale. What do you mean? What's your favorite movie? Good question. Like I said earlier, I appreciate stuff like Avatar with all the animation and stuff. And today's your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Betu Myers. So, yeah, so not enough houses being built is a massive problem. But what are we supposed to do, eh? Equity for leverage through the plan is to get rich. Yeah, that's what they do. Although bedbug benefactor, how you doing? Houses shouldn't be an asset like that. I don't mind people investing or making money from stuff, but not houses like that. I agree, but what we're supposed to do, because a lot of these people are hoarding houses, they will vote on policies that block houses being built. They will vote for things like zoning laws that restrict like affordable houses. A lot of these houses that are being built are not affordable for the average person. They are the ones that are going to keep people from actually getting on the property ladder and forced to rent. I'm not saying everyone's going to be forced to rent forever. If you're lucky enough, you can, get onto the property ladder and eventually get some pretty good equity from that. But it's going to be the long game. You're just going to have to save longer, I guess. But then you might actually benefit from higher equity from that, you could argue. So it's just one of those things. You just have to work harder and try to get on the property ladder. And then maybe after 20 odd years and you've paid it off, then that house is worth triple, quadruple the amount of when you bought it. Patrick says, hello, Schmeckelheimer. What's that? I don't know what you're saying. Rashan says, hey, goo and sleep. What you mean? Do you mind asking what you pay up north? I mean, I don't really talk about that. The thing is, the rent's going to vary depending on where you live, I would say. I mean, it's not a massive amount, but it's, like I said earlier, there's certain things that I like to keep private, really, But I'm quite lucky where I live, it's not that much. But I know for some people around here, it is quite expensive. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Housing should be free for the poor and paid for by the rich. Yeah, I would think so. Some argue that one way to do it is through what's called geo-libertarianism or Georgism, where you would have a sort of property tax or something like that for like the rich. So like if you have like a lot of property that you are earning, especially if you have a business on that property, you would pay a certain amount of tax for occupying that property by hoarding up the more property you hoard, the more tax you would pay. So you could argue the good thing about that is it would encourage them to sell off bits of land that they don't need anymore, that they're just hoarding up because it's going to be, but it's like, can that really be put into practice? Because again, they probably wouldn't want to have those sort of policies in. So I'm 30 years old, love for humanity, what's your name? Hello, Olvito, I'm English. Property for the rich, I love it. Property tax for the rich, yeah. He has, I don't have a girlfriend or wife. But thank you for the 22 likes. Everybody hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. That would be really appreciated. So what do you think would be the best solution then? Do you think like taxing people on property and then redistributing it as like a kind of, I don't know really. Some argue that that's not really a good idea, but another thing we need to look into is more modern kind of buildings, like modular homes, and more putting, putting up more things like modular homes that have more modern designs, because I feel like a lot of these homes are very outdated designs. You know what I mean? Like modular homes are very easy to make. These kind of like, because some call them prefab homes, like these more modern homes. They're very cheap and yeah, they might not be the most durable, but they are, quite inexpensive and quite easy to put up. So they don't take a lot of resources and, yeah, they can be quite efficient. So if people just need housing, yeah, they might not have the most space or whatever, but, if you're needing housing, then it's like, you're probably not going to be too bothered about having a ton of space, really. So it would be good for like, the poor, and it would help them to be able to sort of like get a leg up basically, and allow them to build some, savings and what have you. And yeah, I've seen some of those shipping containers converted. I would happily live in one. Yeah, that's it. That sort of like the prefab homes and stuff like that. It's just that I think they put too many regulations on things like planning permissions and stuff like that ends up making it harder for people to actually just live where they want. I think land is too expensive as well, but I think it's probably better if a few people could maybe split some money on some land, maybe. So, for example, if you've got a piece of land and it costs, let's say, £100,000, you could get 10 people or 20 people, whatever, all split on that land. So they're only paying £10,000 each for the land, and then all of you just get like a prefab home, or maybe even just like some kind of portable home or something like that. Like I'd be happy to live in something like that. Something quite basic, as long as I can heat it and stuff. Then you know what I mean. Like have a more minimalist kind of life, really. Hello, King. Kim Solomon. How you doing? What's this? Need to make building easy, less regulation from private developers and more council stuff too. Yeah. Like I said, all the billionaires of the world could get together and literally give a small portion of their wealth to house everyone without a place to live. The greed is disgusting. Exactly. They could even probably solve world hunger if they really wanted to and still have a lot of money for themselves, but they won't do it because, again, like you said, it affects the bottom line, and it is disgusting. But yet, people will look up to people like Elon Musk and all that, but yet they'll shame people for being, when they shame people for being benefit scroungers. But who is the biggest benefit scrounger in the world right now? Elon freaking Musk. He is the biggest benefit scrounger in the world, but yet most of them won't shame him, Yeah, if wealth is distributed, then everyone would be a millionaire. Yeah, you would think so, but I don't know. But I was saying the other day, right, about how if everybody earned the same amount of money, right, would that maybe, would that really maybe, basically, stop people from, innovating? Because if all these innovators had to then share all their wealth with their employees equally, then you could say that they'd be less likely to actually, be interested in coming up with solutions to try and fix certain problems, because they just don't have the incentive to do that. Why would they waste their time risking all that, to do all these things, unless it came from, I don't know really. I would say that there has to be incentives to really do that. I would argue. What's EM is selfish. Elon Musk, yeah. So I don't know. I do agree with some parts of capitalism, and some argue that it can bring about innovation and stuff. Because I would argue if we had a centralized planned economy, then I don't know if that would really work, to be honest with you. I mean, wasn't that something that was tried back in Soviet Russia? And then some might say that it wasn't properly done. But I did hear there was a lot of issues that happened as a result of that. And yes, people say that Industrial Revolution is responsible for current wealth in our system. But to be honest, the innovation that drove Industrial Revolution was arguably due to capitalism. Yeah, I would say that there is probably some truth to that, but like I said, what says Patrick Stanley says exactly, and to be honest, I never liked Elon. He's a spoilt kid with too much money. He spends millions on rockets while people freeze and starve. The people who have the money do not deserve the money. Exactly. You could say, well, because he's taking grants from the government, and you say, well, he's using it for whatever, building green technology or whatever, which is probably not even that much better, if any. If you look into a lot of this green stuff, it's probably not even that good, a lot of it, to be honest with you. A lot of these, electric cars and all that, I think they're a gimmick, to be honest with you. But I don't know, this whole thing with capitalism, like I said, it's just, people try and blame it for all the wrongs in the world, and I did talk about this before, because I do feel like, there's a lot of corporate greed and stuff, and like I said, with people like Elon, but a lot of it is the, government subsidies. I think government needs to stop giving subsidies to corporations, right? Why are they giving them all to them? They don't usually give them to the small companies so much, do they? They're bailing out corporations, they bail out the banks. It's like socialism for the rich only is what they have. It's like a kind of two-tier economy where if you're part of the elite class, you get the benefits of socialism, but yet everyone else is just having to just fight over scraps. You know what I mean? 100% a gimmick. Tesla is trash. Yeah, I mean, it's I just think it's just a bunch of people just trying to show off and look at me with my Tesla and, I'm so green and all that. It's really, I mean, whatever. OMG, I'm stuck, you're live now too. Also ended up here randomly scrolling, and I've never scrolled on live except for today. Oh, really? All right. Well, the first for everything. What's that? Pogolski says, late stage capitalism has been about developed nation states living off interest incomes. That might work for the rich, but if the state doesn't empower commons, the contagion of easy living spreads. Yeah. So like, what I'm saying is that for innovation to happen, though, do we not need some people to be earning more than others? Like, if someone's gonna, to risk, like, to make risks, to invest, what do we suggest? Does that mean that the government has to then fund that? In that case, if you have an idea and you want to bring it about, should then that mean that the government would give you grants to invest? Maybe if that was the case, then maybe you could argue it could work. Because, like I said, there needs to be incentives for innovation to happen. So maybe you could argue it doesn't have to just happen under capitalism. It could happen under some kind of state-funded kind of thing, but then that would come from the taxpayer money or something. I don't know. So it's one of those things really where you could argue, well, why should it have to come from taxpayer money? Because, then it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things, isn't it, where, yeah, it's just kind of, yeah. Because, like, why should we have to fund all these, like, the research and development? So then it would be I don't know. So it's one of those things, isn't it? We either have, basically, the two options. Either we have to incentivize people to innovate, or we have to fund it publicly. We have to fund it, but it's like, I would still argue that a lot of people wouldn't bother in that case even, because there's a chance that it might not even work or whatever. And you could argue about the whole idea of why would someone want to innovate something just to end up having to earn the same amount as somebody else. Let's say they hire somebody to be part of their company, then why would they want to give away all that money that they've earned? They are the ones that started that company. So I don't know, it's a tricky one really, isn't it? But I think if you're the one that started that company and it was your idea, in my opinion, you should probably earn most of the money. That's how I see it, really. Why do you say Aussie? I'm not even Aussie. What are you on about? Anyway, so I don't know. It's just one of the dilemma, because it's like, because I understand that human nature and all that, and the need for incentives, and if you have the incentive that you're going to earn a lot of money if this is successful, if your development is successful and it makes a lot of money, you're probably going to be more likely to put a lot of effort into it to get it to be successful. But you can't make it a fish. What the fuck? I don't know what you're on about. Anyway, what we're saying here, so it's gone a bit quiet. I believe that any person who makes 60k or less per year should be exempt from taxes. Yeah, exactly, because 60k a year now, if you take taxes off that, you're probably only going to be making about 45 grand, maybe, if that. If you look at how much people are getting taxed now, it's crazy. National insurance contributions, you've got income tax, council tax. I mean, if you drive, you've got car tax to pay. There's so many different ways people are getting screwed, isn't there? And yeah. Anyway, but yeah, 60k a year, I mean, I think if you're earning less than that, because the thing is, right, most of the tax is coming from the richer people already. So if say like, let's see like, what percentage, let's have a look, of UK tax is from 60k per year, plus income. Let's have a look. Hello, Puggleskis, what's that? Here's an old book, a compilation really. The title is The Economic Crisis Reader. Vintage Books, 1993. Talks at length about the structural deficiencies of the post-war economic order. That sounds interesting. And the property tax, if you can actually afford to own a house in 2026. Yeah, it's talking about the like Georgism basically. It's but this would apply to like businesses who are hoarding, or you want to be a bakery owner, really go away. Anyway, so this is what it says here. So for a UK taxpayer, so I'm talking like, yeah. Yeah. What percentage of total tax money is from people earning over 60k per year? If you tax too much people, just leave, then you won't get anything from them. I don't really agree with that. I think they found that it's not true, and that's just a way to try and kind of justify not taxing the rich a lot. Like they won't close the loopholes and stuff. It's like, oh well, if we close the loopholes, then they'll just leave. But there's not enough people leaving to really justify that, I don't think. So I don't really agree with what you're saying there. It just sounds like a Tory kind of, excuse to just keep the taxes low for the rich people, the mega rich we're talking. So yeah, I'm in tax because a lot of times stuff is attached to this country and they can't leave the country, because even if 1 billionaire left, you would probably have thousands of millionaires that would still stay, so the overall effect would still be positive in my opinion. So yeah, so I think that's a misleading sort of way to kind of justify not taxing the rich so much. Now you could argue but you could argue it's more that they need to just stop taxing so much because a lot of the tax money is wasted. So I get that as well, and they need to just stop wasting so much. A lot of tax money does end up getting wasted, unfortunately. I don't think rates are that low for rich people. TBH, IDK, my economics is sloppy ASF. I've been meaning to read Line and Economics 101. Okay. Hi, Troy. How you doing? Let's have a look. Will taxing rich more cause a lot to leave? So let's see what it says about this. Saying that it on the rich rarely causes a large-scale exodus. So this is what they're threatening that it would happen. The lava. It says, while some high-net-worth individuals may relocate, studies indicate most stay due to deep social, personal, and economic ties, with tax revenue gains often far outweighing the loss from those who leave. Another idea is, if they did leave, maybe we could have a thing where if they leave, then they still have to pay some of their income from abroad to this country as a form of you could argue almost not a reparation, but like some kind of compensation or something like that. So I was talking about this idea before. Yeah, I do sleep. Send 2 to 3. Okay, what you're saying, newer Sifai. Hope you're all well. What's your name, everybody? If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. That'd be really appreciated. So maybe that could be a way to prevent some of them from leaving, you could argue, by saying, well, if you leave, then we'll just tax your earnings abroad then. Maybe there's a way that they could do that. I don't know. But you could say, well, they might not be able to do that. I'm not sure yet, really, but I've been kind of think about how they could implement something like that. You're getting it, says Drew, what you mean. But there has to be some way to hold them accountable, basically. Because if they're going to say, well, you're going to leave, then, okay, well, you still owe us money then, or something. Where is your money? What do you mean? So let's see. It should be a global law that the richer you are, the more taxes you should have to pay to help ensure everyone is housed, clothed, and fed. Exactly. Because you get people like relying on food banks, even people who are working full time. What am I talking about, says Vincent? Talking about people saying that if we tax the rich more, people are saying that it would cause a mass exodus. But there doesn't seem to be much evidence of that. It seems like a bunch of fear-mongering from, because I remember Telegraph was saying this a while ago, and I think that it's probably just some propaganda, really, but that's the way I see it. Because a lot of people have ties to this country and don't want to just leave, even if it meant that they had to pay more tax. Yeah, some people might leave to places like Dubai or whatever. Now you could argue that, well, they might, but we could say like, well, let's say if they left, but then how would they be able to how would the UK know how much they're owed from them or something? Like maybe there's a way where they could still have some tie to the UK where they have to declare all their income or something. Maybe there's a way to kind of do that. Otherwise, they're like, okay, if you're not going to do that, then you have to stay here kind of thing. So maybe there's that way where if you're a citizen of this country, then you have a tie to it. And therefore, if you leave the country, you still have citizenship to this country. You would still have a duty to contribute to it. So even if you go to a country with no taxes, tough shit, you still have to pay them to this country. That way, that might be a way of getting around that issue. Hello, Eminem. Okay, how you doing tonight? Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about as a way to avoid that issue. Because if we're to argue that, So, Patrick says, I work full-time, but rent, bills, groceries, and gas suck up to 85% of my money. And then I try to save a bit. Meanwhile, my goofy president has time to golf every other day. Yeah, it's just wrong, isn't it? When you've got these people who can just do whatever the hell they like. And, but you got people struggling. You know what I mean? Hello, doctor. How you doing? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. So original. Right, so I'm going to make myself some food. I'll do it whilst I'm on live, but yeah. Right. Just, yeah. Is everybody alright tonight then? Hope you've all had a good day. Okay, here we go, doctor. Here we go. Who's still in the live anyway? Justice is his hello. An ice agent, well, ice is... Ice, baby. Hello, Jason. How you doing? I hope you're well. And Patrick's there. Welcome, everybody. So, gonna have a bit of pasta. Just gonna have that. So, got some brown pasta. Yeah. I'm not gonna have like loads of it. I'll just put a little bit more. So, don't have too much. Yeah. Is everybody all right? Yeah. Jason says you too. Thank you. You're welcome. Right. So I'll put that in there. Just let that warm up. So yeah. Yeah, we all right, people? Doctor says okay. Whatever. Right. So I've got some like frozen vegetables. So I'm just gonna put that in. Just very simple stuff, Yeah, just got some frozen veg. This is, yeah, mixed vegetables. So it's got peas, sweet corn. It's got like, I think green beans or whatever they are, carrots. So it's just a mix of that, really. Some argue that frozen's actually better. What do you guys think about that? Because some say with the fresh, oftentimes they lose a lot of the nutrients. Yeah, so I'm just going to put some vegetable and then I'll do a sauce on it afterwards. Just a simple kind of thing that I do. Couldn't get any simpler, really. And it costs next to nothing as well, so... Hello, Maynard, how you doing? Okay, let's just get rid of that. Yeah, just be very simple, you know. Yeah, we alright tonight, everybody? Thank you for the 26 likes. Yeah, it's gone a bit quiet, I guess. You know, it's just late for a lot of people, isn't it? Yeah, it feels like I've been on all day, really, but yeah, so I like to talk about these sort of things, so... I don't know, do you think that, yeah, we should tax the rich more, or some say that we should, instead of taxing the poor to death, then tax the rich more? No eggs, no, I don't do eggs. But, what, you mean like fried egg or something? I don't know, I don't do that, but anyway. Hello, Tidzine, whatever that is, sorry, how you doing tonight? Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Oldie, are you saying that I'm oldie or something, or I'm quite young still? But it's just to these young people, they see anything above 20 as being old nowadays, it seems. If you're above 20, then you're an unk. It's just delusional. Like, you're not an oldie until you're at least probably 60s, I would say. Hello, Con. Okay. And yeah, well, that's more breakfast. This is night time and it's not breakfast. Yeah. Oh, really different. I don't know. Oh, you was here before, were you? Hello, JD. No, I meant to type soldier. Okay. 30 years old I am, so yeah. Well, some people say that men peak around 35, even 40, a lot of them. You know, usually men don't get the shit together until in the 30s. Like, for men in the 20s, they're like kind of just getting started, really. A lot of them. Hello, P. Sar. Yeah, 1995 I was born. Yeah, it sounds about right. Whereas with women, this is just a kind of, this is not about being sexist or anything, but some would say women tend to peak earlier. So like women are, because of the beauty and all that, you know, they have it good when they're young, you know, they need to kind of capitalize on those younger years. Get with a good man, I would say. That's my opinion anyway. Capitalize on those years. And don't be just stupid and just kind of, because some of them, you know, when they're young, they can be quite, you know what I mean? They're not mature enough, I think, for a lot of, the problem is they might not be mature enough for a lot of the guys. Like, a lot of guys might be attracted to them, but then they're just, like, if they're, say, like, at a certain age, they're just kind of, you know what I mean, that they might, a lot of guys will be like, you know what, because I was talking about this the other day, I'm thinking, should I want to get with a younger woman, because a lot of them I just find, especially nowadays, are just not mature at my level, so, but everyone's different though, so, but some might say I should go for an older woman, one that's either, you know, maybe a little bit older than me, perhaps. I don't know what you guys think, really, but I'm not really even properly looking for anybody, but anyway. Yeah, I know, it's probably, I'm even considering whether it's even bothering dating at all, to be honest. Because it just seems like no one's even serious, and they just treat you as disposable, a lot of people nowadays. Are you born in 1979, so that'll make you 46 or 47, depending on when you were born. 2010 was 16 years ago. Yeah, it's scary, isn't it? Because I was thinking, it doesn't seem 2 minutes ago. You're 47. Oh yeah, when was your birthday? That's kind of sad, man. What you mean about 2010 is 16 years ago. Yeah. You were born in 2010? Is that what you mean, Doctor? I keep forgetting to drink, so sometimes I've at times where I've not really been drinking enough, and it's messed up my throat and just get dry and horrible. Anyway, is everyone all right tonight? About to have ID. Oh, really? Okay. When you 16 then? Yeah. Everything's all right. I'm just trying to, put the time in. The more time I put in, the more it seems to be building a momentum up. I don't think I can sustain it forever, but I'm trying to just get that momentum, keep on moving, and hopefully eventually I'll be getting pretty big with this. It's just the more that I get on here, then the more it seems to be pushing me out. So we had like 20 odd people in here at one point earlier, but it is a bit late now, so a lot of my viewers are probably asleep at this point. So we have people from all other parts of the world that are still up at this time. So should be at 5k subs soon actually. Hopefully we'll reach that soon. But we just gotta keep on pushing, and we get the odd super chat sometimes, but it'd be great to see it start happening more regular. And what's that generation of my parents lived through several regime changes. Oh yeah, in about with the wars and stuff like that. Hello there, WG2. No, not in Wales. I'm in England. Death of Tito, 1980. What's Tito? I don't know what that is. Tito. Tito. Do I support Trump? I don't know. Do you? Hello, RBLX doll. No, I don't. Someone said that the other day. Was it you? Anyway, so rule from 1945 until 1980. What was that? Sorry. Oh, Yugoslavia. Oh yeah. Yeah, Yugoslavia is now split, isn't it, into like Serbia and all that. Yeah, I remember I had a old map that showed Yugoslavia on it, but it doesn't have that anymore. That it's got Serbia, and what was the other one? Montenegro. What's the other one? Kosovo, I think, if I remember. Am I right? What time is it? It is 1:50 a.m. right now. So I'll be having this bit of food and then I'll be going to bed. Kosovo and Serbia. Isn't Montenegro? Let's have a look. We'll be sleeping later. Yeah. What country is where you in Yugoslavia? Let's have a look. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia. Hang on. So the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, 1945 to 1992. So we've got Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Macedonia, now North Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, and Slovenia. Additionally, Serbia included two autonomous provinces, Kosovo and Vojvodina. Sorry, I probably not even pronounced that correctly. These areas broke apart into independent nations, with Kosovo declaring independence in 2008. So there you go. Is it Vojvodina? So the J is pronounced as a Y. Right. Yeah, got you. So I didn't know there was that many countries that it split into. Anything with weapons, military related, for a job very profitable, right, Orange? So you're more interested in just for the profit of it rather than the actual enjoyment of the job. But let's say if money was not a factor in the world, let's say, what would you do? Let's pretend like money is no object here. What would you do? Personal injury or special education lawyer? Oh yeah. Oh cool. Well, it's good doing these like Q&A stuff because it gets people talking. Yeah, gets everybody kind of chatting a bit more. So yeah, I'll probably keep doing these sort of things really. Anyway, about 10 people in here still. Who have we got still there? P Source says Orthodox Slavs. Do you know I'm Orthodox Siberian? Oh really? That's Russia, right? What do you mean there's no Orthodox? You just said Orthodox Slavs question mark. You said you're. I don't get what you're saying. Who said anything about that? I'd love to be involved in science research. I've been intending to saw a access course to go to uni. Yeah. Problem is a lot of people end up not doing it because of money reasons. They don't want to end up. Maybe it's because of the debts or something. But I guess it depends what you're going into. If you're going into like a medical degree, then it could be worth it because like the debt's going to be like nothing compared to like what it's going to get for you. So, but a lot of people end up going into stupid degrees like art degree or whatever. Now some people say, oh, they do it for the social reasons, but I don't even really agree with that because I'm thinking, if that's the main reason you do that, why can't you just? I don't know why you can't just sort of find friendships and stuff without having to like go to uni. That's like why would you end up putting yourself in so much debt just for the sake of socializing and when you could probably have found ways of doing that outside of that? I don't know. I just feel like it's very outdated and like I'm sure there's probably other ways to maybe meet people if that's what you want to do. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. But 3 Ale, how you doing? TBF, I think it's good that at least some people are studying art, etc. Why is that then? Why do you think that it's good that people are studying art when most people are not going to actually get anything from that? Yeah, money is at a debt, you could say. Yeah, it's inflationary and it's yeah. Hello, Angie Sung. Okay, like people sometimes mock East African feminist posturing, or whatever, but I think there should be at least some experts on these subjects. Maybe too many do it. CBF, yeah. It's just, I don't know really. You think people don't get anything from art? I mean, if you want to sell your art, why would you need to go to uni and study that? Like, people tend to go online and monetize. They might go on Etsy, they might go on, and there is a lot of online resources nowadays to research things and a more like comprehensive way of researching things. There's so many resources out there now. Philanthropist, yeah, it's just a lot of the people that are so-called philanthropists are not. Like for example, Mr. Beast, I think he even calls one of his channels philanthropy. He's not a philanthropist, is he? I mean, he's just it's all just a way of marketing himself. It's all PR, you know? When you see him talk about philanthropy, it's all PR, isn't it? It's just all to try and make them look good and to get more money. It's virtue signaling, a lot of it, I believe, a lot of the philanthropy. But if you genuinely want to be a philanthropist, that's great. If you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it for the right reasons, then that's good. Alfie says some people study art more accidentally, like the history of art, etc. I like researching myself, but so many people that did their own research are absolute not as well. Well, that's their problem then, isn't it, really? I would say. Hook and heritage. How you doing? Hello, Raphael. I'm doing fine. How you doing? It's just, I don't know, it's just a lot of people end up, it's like my cousin did some art course, but then ended up just doing some regular job. So I just question it. A lot of people that do these type of degrees, whether it be arts, whether it be liberal arts, whatever it might be, that what do they, I don't know, you could argue that some people gain some skills like from it, and that might translate into other areas, but yeah. Anyway, according to what I heard from my relatives, 90s were hell, hyperinflation, third worst in human history. Wars that displaced millions, and we are still recovering. It's a hell, a lot of hatred. Yeah, that's it, you know. There's always times in history where there's been turbulence. Yes, Mr. Trump has been quiet. Hello there, Susie. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Vast majority probably shouldn't be doing it. I just had to defend academic study of art, like I wouldn't want to live in a world without any art history experts. I get what you're saying. I think there is a time and a place for that. It's just it's the idea of, like, if everyone's doing a degree, then it becomes more worthless, because everyone's all kind of like competing for the same thing, therefore its value becomes less. It's like the whole supply and demand economics. When there's less people chasing for something, then the thing becomes, it's all about your competition and all that, and if everyone's competing for the same thing, then like the price goes up. It affects the outcome for the individual in terms of value and all that. So yeah, what you're saying, Daniel. Hello, Nerd in Motion. AI could do most of the degree knowledge in a few years. That's true. Yeah, AI is already doing a lot of stuff, really, isn't it? Like, there's people using AI for music and all sorts of stuff now. So yeah, even things like medical degrees, maybe that's how they'll end up solving a lot of these problems with, I don't know. But then it's like, if we're trusting AI, that could be dangerous, you could say. I don't know. But I mean, it's like, even now, it's like, you've got people with medical degrees, they're having to like look at Google for the answers. They don't even know what they're talking about half the time, and they're just having to go to the reference books or on Google searches. I mean, I thought these people had a degree. I thought they would know this kind of stuff, you know? So they've spent all these years doing a degree just to then ask Google for the answer. So you think to yourself, what was all these years for then of studying these things? Some people suggest that maybe they should lower the barrier to entry, so then that might encourage more people to want to become a doctor, but because some argue that there's a lot of stuff that is in it that's just not really necessary. We could maybe trim it down by half and just, I don't know what you guys think about that. Is there a way of cutting some of the junk out of these degrees as a way to slim it down, so that if it only took, say, maybe 4 or 5 years to get a degree in becoming a doctor, then it makes it more accessible, perhaps. Anyway, so yeah. Booger, well, there's that. Don't think I've got any advice. Most art students are pretty slow, if I'm being honest. That's fair enough. It's a misconception that if you go to uni and get a degree, you'll do well and be clever. Yeah, that's true. In fact, a lot of the people in trades actually end up out-earning most of the people at uni. Because what happens is, if you start off with a trade, maybe you start off being an apprentice, you learn the ropes, and then what happens is you would start to get some clients maybe, and then you can just start your own company, you know, become self-employed, become a self-employed plumber or something like that. And some of them are earning like 6 figures, or at least maybe 70, 80,000, something like that, you know. So some of them are even out earning doctors. These are people who have trained for so long to get there. So this is probably why a lot of people choose not to bother going down that route. They're like, I don't really want to end up taking all this time going through uni, medical school. You know, they just think to themselves, I'd rather just get straight onto this thing, you know, a couple of years on this, 3 years maybe, and then they can just, away they go. They start their own company, and they're, by the time they're in their like early to like mid-20s, they've already got an established business in some cases and they have a bunch of clients that they have. So that's the thing. A lot of them are doing the overtime, night shifts and stuff. Yeah. I mean, of course, if you're, you know, doing manual work, that can be tough. But I suppose at least you're getting a good workout, you know, with these things, you know. As long as you do things safely, because some people do end up straining themselves, so you've got to be careful. So I do hear a lot of people doing these manual jobs like carrying furniture around and things like that. They can end up doing themselves in. I remember someone said that he had sciatica, so I'm guessing it might be down to how they were lifting things, and that can end up, you know, kind of, you know, if you end up like pulling a muscle or anything like that, and you just have to be very careful, you know. Make sure you're warmed up before lifting stuff, really, because a lot of people might end up like lifting heavy objects and they haven't warmed their muscles up, so that can cause you to hurt yourself. Why are we asking these questions? Depends on your personal preference as well. True. I got a spanner dropped on my head from 7 floors up. Fucked me up for weeks. That sounds shit, that. Yeah. Literally threw a spanner in the works, eh? Literally. Yeah. What a spanner, whoever did that. Most tradesmen are not business owners, my guy. Most work for a company. I guess it depends, but if you can get clients and you can do that, then you're a lot better off, right? You cut out the middleman then, you know? Like because I've heard a lot of these trades guys that can be self-employed and they can earn loads from it. Or if you say a bricklayer, you technically are self-employed. Even if you are working, you could say, well, you're doing odd jobs for different companies, but you are self-employed because they are what they call contracted or whatever. Subcontractors or whatever they call them. So they just get contracted for little jobs and stuff, but they're going to make a lot more money than most people. Yeah, true. Last guy I worked for was charging $600 a day for him and me, then paying me $150, so he's making $450 a day. Wow, that's a good amount of money, that, you know. What's that a week? That's probably about, you know, a couple of thousand a week, you know. That's literally like 6 figures. If they were doing that full time, there would be about 6 figures then. You go to uni, get a degree, massive debt, then you'll try to get a job. It will be basic and you'll have to retrain. Yeah, this is the thing with a lot of courses at uni where, because then there's the whole thing of people getting rejected because they're overqualified. So there's that problem as well with the uni. Now it depends on what course you're doing, and I've heard that in some cases the student loans aren't that bad, and that you might be maybe paying about, you know, £100 a month back, something like that. But it's not ideal really. And if you're paying this amount of money back over the long run, there's the opportunity cost as well, because of the if you end up in a situation where you are paying back £100 a month in debt, for example, if you put that money into, say, for example, the S&P 500 index or something like that, or even just some very high-end savings account or something else like that, or stake in it or something, you could have exponential returns on that in like 2 decades or whatever. So that £100 a month that you put in, that might start to generate you a fuck ton of money. So this is what I mean. It's you got to think about the long run and how you want to invest your time, your money. I want to become a pilot and get to my senior years. Yeah, I've heard that someone was talking about being a pilot isn't all that great because of being at high altitudes can not be very good for you if you're at high altitudes all the time in these hypoxic environments. Some people who discover new pharmaceuticals make hundreds of millions. Yeah, I suppose I was thinking about this actually. If you want to get a medical degree, it might be worth looking into going more down the business of it, because that's a way to kind of scale yourself, and you could then become like some kind of entrepreneur with it. You don't have to then, become a doctor in the conventional sense. What you could do, right, is while you're training for like being a doctor, you could start up like, say, your own blog, your own channel about you training as a doctor. That way you start gaining some interest, you start sharing some of your things you're learning about medicine and things like that. What happens is, you could be like doing it as a vlog. By the time you've got your degree, you could be getting thousands of subscribers, maybe even tens, hundreds of thousands, millions, who knows, whatever could happen by then. If you maybe do this as a side thing, right? Where you document things, you talk about, what you're doing, and talk about your degree, how it's going, all that kind of thing. Once you've got your degree, that's your moment to then start selling things, because now you have that title, you have that authority. Now, this is where you can be making bank. So that could, in some cases, be a much more lucrative way of making money than having to like stress being a doctor all your life. Maybe you could go down that field, so that's an idea. So senior pilot by KLM in my country, you can earn up to 300k euros a year, which is awesome. That is great, but yeah, there is the danger money and all that. Like I was saying, every time you get on a plane, you're increasing the odds of it being fatal, You never know what time it could be fatal. Let's say if there's a 1 in, let's say, a million chance of it happening where you might be fatal. If you got in a plane hypothetically 10,000 times over a course of time, your chances of a fatal accident might be around 1%. So it becomes a bigger risk the more that you do it, is what I'm saying. Not trying to shit on trades, by the way. Tradesmen are heroes, but I've done it for almost 10 years now, and it's just not what I want to do. Yeah, no, it's not for everybody. Some people just don't want to do that kind of stuff. But like I said, the other option, like we're saying, is selling your own medicines. So if you become like, you get your degree, and you've already kind of established yourself, you get a channel set up or whatever, what you do is you start your own channel, you just try and promote it to everybody. Get it shared around all the circles that you're in. Make sure everybody goes and watches your stuff. What you do is you would basically this is not, you know, advice. This is just something that of an idea. So when you so once you've finished your course, you've got your degree, you've got your medical degree, whatever, or you end up being able to have some authority. You can start selling medicines and stuff like that. And it just gives you more authority to even sell things like supplements and stuff, because people will trust you more. So there's that, you know, if you want to sell health supplements, people are more likely to get behind you if you have something like that, you could argue. So it's like when people say that, you know, they're more likely to trust you if you have, say, like a certified personal trainer qualification or something. But, anyway, hope everyone's doing well. We'll be getting off in a sec, but what's this? Spies WT says, nowadays plane crashes are rare. Funnily enough, flying a plane is safer than driving a car. I have heard that, actually. Yeah, a lot of people are afraid of flying planes, but yeah, you're more likely to get into a car crash than a plane crash. So, but it's something that could still happen. But anyway, it is what it is. I suppose nowadays I suppose things have gotten safer, but it's. But I'm just saying that the more times that you do it, the more chances that something could happen. You know, it's like that every time you go to sleep, the more chance that you won't wake up the next morning, kind of thing. It's just, I don't know. But it's just me with my kind of, I guess, like a cynical or, I don't know, like a more of a pessimistic view sometimes, where you think of worst case scenarios a lot, you know. You are high up in the air, there isn't much to crash into. Well, you know what I mean? There's like, if the thing fails for some reason, like you'll see things, I don't know, it might just be from like things like Final Destination, but a lot of that stuff's just like, it would just never really happen. Where it just all like sets on fire or something happens mid-air. It's just, there's a lot of safety procedures and stuff that pretty much prevents almost everything from happening. So, yeah. I don't know if anyone's ever seen Final Destination before, but that would probably make people afraid to do anything, you know? Like, because there was like one with the roller coaster, and when the roller coaster fucked up and then people were like falling off it and shit, you know? Don't know if anyone's ever seen that. Then there was the one with the suntan bed with the where they got fried in there. But yeah, it's that sits mental, that, yeah. Anyway, is everybody okay? I will be going in a minute. I'm gonna eat my food, and yeah. Anyway, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. That would be really appreciated. Yeah. But I think you're right. There's not really much to worry about these days. There's a lot more dangerous on the road, I suppose. Graham Marsden, hello. Welcome back. And we'll be getting off in a sec. I'll have my food and then going to bed. So, yeah. It's been nice hanging out with everybody as always. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Yeah, take care, Alfie. I always enjoy getting into the deeper subjects and stuff, and yeah. Hi, Emily, good to see you again. Oh, you've missed it. I'm about to get off. Yeah, I like to sort of get deep into conversation and what have you, so yeah. My dream job is weapon dealer. Oh, really? Why is that then? Anyway, make sure you subscribe if you're new here. Same for me. It's past 3 now, so yeah, I'll be, yeah, it's 2:17 here, so yeah. Night. Oh, you Susie? I didn't know you were still there. Take care. Right, everybody. Hello, Arod. Yeah, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. But your job is a mockler miser. Okay, whatever. Sorry, I've been in the bathroom. Okay. Oh goodness. Here we go. Okay. Okay then. Deary me. Deary me. Okay. Well, you take care, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow. All right. Bye for now.